Hello, and welcome to the podcast, a living library of resiliency, where we have creative conversations. It's a journey involving discussions to process resiliency, an exchange of discovery and healing, and talks among friends to open ears and eyes. Please reach out to me if you'd like to be a guest. I'm your host, Rhiannon Berry, a visual artist, social worker, community-minded wellness program developer, psychology student, and wellness retreat coordinator. I'm joined today by micro-realist artist Adele Campbell out of London, Ontario. Together we have created some art retreats and self-care planning, and we've developed it into activity plans for day retreats as well as some overnight retreats. And we talk a little bit about how that came together, but we also talk about future planning. And we get into some of what you can expect at the Creative Wellness Haven. So we facilitate both the creative process and the discussions afterwards, and everything we do is based on art and envirotherapy principles and self-care planning. Confidentiality is always in effect, so we do discourage the use of any electronics, and we also do a device detox, so we help you through it, and you leave feeling refreshed and with higher energy. So our feeling is that, when you're with others or when you're self-guided, painting does allow you to focus on the moment. So there's a lot of mindfulness involved in the retreats, and it also gives you a little bit of techniques in art or a chance to just create for the day. And then you can share it with others as well. And so it helps build a sense of community and belonging, as well as confidence. So I'm an avid journaler, and last week I was kind of unloading and writing a lot of, just contemplating a lot of things that I had been seeing online. And I got into a bit of a rant, and then afterwards I emerged from it with these ideas of looking at trendy self-care, ideas that you see on the internet, on social media, very trendy. Like right now, a lot of people say, be kind, or I'm an empath, or, stay positive. And those are all really great things. But I wanted to take a look at the other side of those things. So after my journaling session, I did post some memes and that I created myself. And so we do discuss those a little bit. The first one is when I'm an empath becomes self-sabotaging. The second one is bottling up your emotions is like poison. And the third idea that came out of this journaling session for me was self-imposed toxic positivity. So positive thinking does not exist in a vacuum. It is not a cure-all. Toxic positivity can silence you and those around you from expressing their negative emotions. Have you ever seen that Seinfeld episode where George was practicing like staying calm and never getting angry, and he was like the new George? And he
I
would
don't
say,
remember that one, but I
every
have
time
watched it
he was
for sure.
angry, he'd be like, "Serenity now."
Oh, yes.
Oh no, or
Okay, yeah.
was it George? No, it was Kramer. I think maybe. No,
It
maybe no.
was Kramer. I'm pretty sure it was Kramer. And he would say, Serenity now. Yes, I do remember that.
And then at the end, he smashed up the whole garage full of
Yeah.
serenity now. That's what it reminds me of when people say, "Be kind, be positive." I'm an empath. I think what's boiling underneath there.
Yeah.
I want to know. Come talk to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me your
But
story.
yeah, I think our retreats too, like give you a space to actually feel those things and then, dive deeper into that feeling and express it creatively. I think one of the reasons we started this is because You and I were both talking about
Accountability.
accountability. Yeah, that's how we originally
Part.
started off, from a post that I did or something. And that's one of the ways this conversation led us into creating a space for someone to really dive into themselves and then express that in order to.
The first idea was like creating an accountability program for
That's
people
right. Yeah.
who wanted to meditate daily or wanted to work out daily or whatever their health and self-care goals were, but they just weren't following through during COVID.
Yeah, because that was prompted by me recognizing that I wasn't following through and I needed to be held accountable. And I
Yeah.
think that's one of the great things too, is that, you know, what we've created, there's tools within our self-care plan that allow you to continue to make sure that you hold yourself accountable. And we talked about how there's going to be a need for people to kind of have the opportunity to reflect on what we've all gone through and where we all want to go from here.
Yeah, when we first started planning this, it was like, well, people have been stuck at home, isolated. Everybody's talking about that they want to socialize more. So we thought we should do something for groups,
Yeah.
small groups, because people are still anxious about being around people. But one thing I noticed when it opened up, um, like wineries were like, I don't know, I don't own wineries, so I can't really speak to the data. But it appeared to me that people were eager to sit on patios, go to
Yes.
restaurants, go to the wineries, do these things, socially distanced, but get out and be social.
Yeah.
And also occurred to me that a lot of my friends, a lot of what I was seeing on social media, TV, internet, in movies, reflected in animations, everything, posters, art, was that everybody had made these promises to themselves. Like, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna do
Yeah.
this to myself, I'm gonna, and people are like, I want to be around my family more.
Yeah.
So I want more time with my children. I want to take better care of my health, my diet. I want to start meditating. I want to do this. I'm going to do this. All these promises and realizations sort of hit the back burner for
Yeah.
anybody who wasn't socially anxious.
True.
And so then I started thinking, are they going to be okay? Like, are they going to hit walls? Are they gonna start hiding again? Are they gonna remember those promises they made to themselves? Did anybody write any of this stuff down or video diary it? Or is it all just
Yeah.
gonna be lost?
Yeah.
Because, hey, we're open again. And
Yeah.
I think the world would just be such a better place if we remembered those promises.
Yeah. I agree.
But it's easier said than done, isn't it?
It is. Well, the thing is about the socialization and getting out and going on patios and going to wine, vineyards, is that, you know, when you reflect on what you've done the last almost 2 years and you look at what have I done for myself or for humanity, you know, did I just return to things as normal, even though we've just gone through a pandemic? This was a significant event. You know, what on the other side of it, are you just being the exact same person that you were? And are you happy with that person?
Yeah, for sure.
Because
I mean, a lot of people that gained weight are trying to lose weight. I went to yoga this morning.
for
I'm not
sure,
it's high intensity, but there were a lot of people there.
yeah. I think there are a lot of people that have taken it seriously. And, I mean, there wasn't much that we could do for comfort. Food was definitely one of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody liked something different, right? Whether it was
Yeah.
wine,
Yeah.
cake,
Yeah.
greasy pizza, whatever it was,
Yeah.
everybody was diving in somehow. I don't know though. I know one girl, she was like, I'm gonna take my health really seriously. And she
Good for
lost
her.
weight during COVID.
Good
And
for
she said
her.
it was because of diabetes in her family or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
She, but I was, now she looks amazing. Not that she didn't look amazing before, but now she's just like, I'm just like, wow, girl,
Yeah.
just gained weight.
Me too. Yeah,
You.
my partner was like, I'm going running. I'm gonna run every day. Might as well. It's the only thing I can do right now. So he just started running and now he's running every day. Like his health has improved. Mine not so much. I wish I had to start running with him. I'm like, I'm gonna start running again.
I think I was just like, school is no joke, man. Like,
Oh
I'm
man,
just
are you
so,
kidding me?
yeah. Never mind all the other crap that was going on during COVID,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The fact that I couldn't like leave my computer or face the possibility of failing a class, like I was
That's a
just
lot of
like,
pressure
fine
on
with that.
top of a lot of pressure.
I bought a rowing machine and a weight bench, and we would like do yoga and stuff, you know, from like an instructor on the internet. There's so much out there, but we even did a few like weight regimes and
Yeah.
different
I think I did jump on it at one point. Like I was on my bike. I got a stationary bike and I was doing the, what's it called? Oh my gosh.
Peloton.
Yep. I was doing those, man. I was going hard. And then it just,
You see those all on the side of the street in like 10
yeah,
years. Old Peloton.
probably. Yeah. It definitely wasn't a Peloton bike, but I was following the videos and kicking my own butt.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. But I mean, like, again, it's one of those things where once life kind of turned back into what we would consider quote unquote normal, those things quickly faded away because, oh, one of the things I noticed, I don't know about you, but here in London, there's so much more traffic. One of the things I really enjoyed about COVID was there was no traffic. Now it's like traffic jams. You're like, and there's people just I saw a guy speed past me today. He must have been going 100 on a like 60 zone. And I was like, is it really that important? Like you just get off the biggest pause ever. And now you're rushing around like this is like so important that you just have to go excessively fast.
Yeah.
Why?
That
Why?
reminds me of like I was volunteering on a fundraising committee and I had mentioned we should do singles events during nobody went for it. I was like, we should do Valentine's Day fundraiser. No, they wanted to do like couple of stuff. But I was just thinking about them like, boy, oh boy, all these singles, man. It's really screwing up the dating scene.
Oh, I heard on the radio today that people are doing Zoom dates.
Yeah, that's
You have your first date on Zoom.
yeah, no.
This this lady called and she was like, "Yeah, I got on the Zoom call and this guy started was drinking beer after beer after beer, talking about how much he hated his job. He called his boss while I was on the Zoom call, told him how much he hated his job and quit his job
So the same people who are on regular dating sites are now on the Zoom
on
dating.
the Zoom date."
I could write a book about freaking dating.
Right.
Uh,
Oh my gosh.
really freaky.
Like, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. I've met that guy.
But one of the things they said, and I was like, yes. Remember when we were younger and you'd just be able to slam down the phone and you can't do that anymore? Just like slam down the computer. I'm like, yes, I live for that
That
moment.
thing.
Like, I think I just want to go on one Zoom call so I can just slam down the phone and be like,
Oh yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah. And mhm. Yeah, you can't get your frustration out anymore.
Hmm. One of the things too I wanted to mention is like the adaptability that we've all had. Like we've all had to adapt our lives to this pandemic. And even though we are again going back to this quote unquote normal, in
Long
some
term
way all of us had to
passport. Yeah.
we've had to
The new
adapt.
normal is still wearing masks and showing your back
Yeah.
through. That's
Yeah.
that's freaking not normal, man.
No.
At least you won't get the flu as easy anymore,
Right?
honestly.
I wonder how much the flu's gone down. Colds,
Yeah.
the first sporting event was like a cold followed like a day after it was over. It was just like seriously.
Yeah, the first shutdown. I think I had COVID.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, my son came home with on the Thursday night they announced that the schools were closing. So I picked him up and we went out and got a ton of groceries and we stopped at Shoppers Drug Mart and I got like 3 bottles of cough medicine, a bunch of Advil, stuff like that,
how
right?
much toilet paper did you buy?
One, because it was like a mad like craziness there. About one
Okay.
thing, 12 rolls. And I was like, you know what? You can like honestly just use cloth. Like if it really
Right.
comes down to it,
Yeah.
out of the bed sheet, like
Yeah.
people are spoiled. Like I actually like when I was younger, my brother told me not to talk about this, but one time when I told somebody, God forbid. But when I was younger, I lived on an island up north in a house that my father built. And one winter, the pump flipped in the lake. We got all of our water frozen.
Oh,
So this means in a frozen lake, Lake Superior, we had no water in the house,
yeah.
no toilet,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
So what we ended up doing was like my stepmother had the older kids break a hole in the ice and use garbage cans and like haul them up to the house. Like we were like uphill
Yeah.
to the house. And then once inside, she would sometimes use that water to like boil water for whatever, right?
Sure.
We would go into town to the grandparents to shower and bathe. Um, and but like the toilets didn't work. So okay, so this is where it gets a little kind of crazy. So there's there's at the time I think there were 10 kids in the family.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
It gets a little crazy. Um, but anyway, so there's nothing anybody could really do, but there was this outhouse up on the top of the island. And my stepmother, because there were so many kids, she'd buy these giant um buckets of flour and margarine, right? So we had
Yeah.
these empty buckets around, so that became
Oh,
a toilet, right?
wow.
Yeah, I shit you not, unintended. Um, and so when they were full, the older kids had to drag them up to the outhouse and dump them.
Oh
This
my
sounds like
gosh.
something out of like the 1800s,
It
right?
does, yeah, to be honest.
Sometimes this is what happens when you live up north. So, anyway, so when people were complaining about toilet paper, I was sitting here going, "Are you guys? What kind of fluffy bunnies are you? What kind of fluffy bunnies?" I had friends who were filling their shopping carts up at Costco, and I'm just like, "This is insanity! Like,
It
have
was,
you never camped before?" Like,
right?
I was just like, "What?" And having gone through that when I was younger for a couple months, because winters last pretty long. We had to pay somebody to go down there and flip it or whatever.
Wow.
But like I remember like my friend's sister would come over and boil water on the stove and like wash our hair for us and she babysat and stuff like that. But you
Oh,
just make do, right?
yeah, you do, of course.
Yeah. So that's what I thought of that toilet paper thing.
Yeah, I thought it was the most ridiculous thing ever, but
Yeah. Some people don't have bathrooms, guys.
people still have toilet paper. Like they bought so much toilet paper, they still have toilet paper. Like they're not gonna have to buy toilet paper for another 3 years. They bought so much toilet paper. Like you hoarders.
Mm. And
Why?
why toilet paper and not seeds or
Right?
soil or cans of food
Yeah, exactly. Toilet paper.
across
So
them?
weird.
Yeah, like why not tuna and
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Peanut butter.
yeah, peanut butter.
I hoarded peanut butter. I had a couple and
What about like
stashed.
tampons and pads?
Right?
Talk of tampons and pads.
No.
Toilet paper.
Tampons and pads are too taboo.
Yeah. God forbid you talk about where humans come from.
Right?
I feel
Thanks
bad
for sharing that.
Yeah. Oh, you poor thing, you didn't get 12.
Oh, you didn't have toilet
You
paper.
sick?
I mean, I didn't have to live through anything like that, but I did go to a camp when I was a kid, and there was an outhouse, that's what we used in the winter. And the toilet never ever flushed. There was never running water. You had to use a bucket. There was a toilet, but
Mhm.
it didn't always work, and you had to use the bucket to flush.
Yeah.
But
That's
for
what we
the,
did sometimes, I think, but then the pipes started freezing
oh
and
yeah, because they would, yeah.
you're like, okay, can't do that.
Yeah. Oh,
But yeah. All right. So those memes I sent you the other day,
yeah.
I thought maybe we could kind of chat about that, like the opposite side of these trendy, things and maybe why they're not working for people in the way that everybody sort of gravitates to. Like, I'm silly right now. I'm wearing a shirt that says be kind. But like,
Yeah, but being kind is something everyone needs to read right now, because not everyone is being kind. They're being jerks when they go into stores and when they're
yeah,
meeting people on the street. So being kind is legit. But yeah,
being kind is legit. Yes.
but memes are there's just another thing that you can swipe through.
Yeah, they're fleeting.
They are
It doesn't
fleeting.
take a lot of energy
No.
to be like, oh, I kind of like, oh, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just kind
And
of
then
roll.
you don't even have to comment. You can just press your little heart away. You don't even have to make a comment or commit to it. You're just,
You can also just screenshot it
yep, and share
and
it.
then share it, and it becomes like you have to buy into that because now it's that whole thing, like people think people care about, like people think people are watching them more closely than they actually are, right? It doesn't have to be that serious,
No.
but a lot of this stuff has become toxic, and that's why I came up with, when I was journaling the other day, I took some time to like just pen to paper and like let everything flow.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I end up just writing really negative things like in my journal, right? Like just a lot of negativity, get it off your chest or whatever, you feel
That
better.
usually is what journaling ends up being. But in between the lines, once you get all that negativity out, that's when the things start to like trickle through.
Yeah. So people
Mhm.
people are like gravitating to be kind. And now does be kind mean just like be kind? Like all the time? And then it's presented in such a way like I'm kind all the time. I buy into be kind, therefore
Yeah.
I'm superior. And that's the same sort of thing that I find with um like positivity sometimes too. It's like
Oh
be
yeah.
positive, stay
Yes.
positive. And then so I started thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, and there's also another term that's, been kind of like popping out at me when I read things lately, and it's toxic positivity. So I started writing about those two things, and then that led me to empathy.
Well, I think that's the difference is, well, again, it's what is the definition of an empath? Because yeah, I think it's one of those trends where, oh, I'm an empath. I'm an empath. Well, what does that mean exactly? Because
And do
are
you
you,
want to stay an empath
that's
forever?
right. Yeah.
Do you
Because
enjoy being
really,
in your feelings?
yeah. Do you enjoy the whole entire world affecting your life because sensitive or
Yeah. I have a lot of empathy for people. I watch commercials and I start crying, or somebody tells me
yeah.
something happened to them and I can't help it. My eyes start watering up. So
When I can't even stand looking when someone gets hurt because I feel it, like I physically feel it. And that is something I've continuously worked on because it's like I shouldn't have to feel that
yeah,
pain that you're having.
you do get used to it, right? Like human beings don't like change. It hurts because your brain's synapses are all
Yeah.
reconfiguring and everything, right? So that change in mindset or idea or new way of thinking, it hurts. Just like learning's kind of physically hurts sometimes, and I can attest about it. Physically hurts sometimes.
Yeah, your brain hurts.
Like honestly, ow.
Too much information.
But with the empathy, and I want to talk about toxic positivity too, but
Mhm.
um, with the empathy, I did end up creating my own memes, like
Yeah.
after that journaling session, because just started thinking about it from the other point of view. Like, what if we weren't so influenced by these trendy, ideas in self-care and wellness? But yeah, like, so for empathy, it's like if you're overly empathetic, it might be a sign that you need to work on your emotional regulation skills.
Yeah.
And that's something that you go into therapy to do, or you could maybe self-help your way through some of that. But then also, I mean, like we both said it, we're both empathetic.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's really, really hard to fix,
It
or
is.
in total too. Like maybe some of it will always be there.
I think so for sure because you're it's the awareness. It's the self-awareness that someone else is feeling or whatever, it's hard to kind of walk into a situation and not automatically have that reaction that you're used to having over and over again of
Yeah.
how are they feeling? How am I going to affect how they're feeling? How are they going to affect how I'm feeling?
Yeah. What am I picking up on?
Yeah.
So it becomes so much of your identity, especially when you say I'm
Yes.
an empath, when you're
Yes.
self-labeling yourself an empath.
Yeah.
So like as a student of psychology, I would say you are carrying trauma.
Yeah.
I would say you have open wounds, unhealed traumas,
Yeah.
and that makes you more empathetic to other people because you can empathize with them.
Mhm.
So I would I would just say that's the opposite of wearing it as a badge of honor, is to think of it from that perspective.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then it becomes a burden in your life when you're taking on other people's.
Yeah, because like your meme says, like I'm looking right at it. It moves past sympathy because you can be sympathetic for someone for the situation that they're in, but it is completely different when you're empathetic because you're feeling or going through the emotions with them.
Right. And you can have empathy for them as well, because the uh, having a healthy empathy.
I think the problem too in society is that everyone, not that everyone's trying to be a helper, but everyone feels as though, well, I think one of the problems is that a lot of people aren't emotionally aware of their own emotions. And so it's easier to reflect how someone else is feeling sometimes if you're not emotionally aware of your own being.
Or if you haven't had a chance to express, hey,
Yeah.
this happened to me, you can be like,
Yeah.
look at them, for them, like kind of go
Yeah.
vicariously through their pain. Um, but also like, what's that? Trauma connection, like when you're connected to somebody because they've had the same trauma as you. So when somebody has a trauma bond too, I think that's kind of similar to saying, well, not to saying I'm an empath, but
relating to other people who say that they're empath, definitely. I think that for sure.
yeah. So like I've had somebody, like I worked with somebody one time who is super sensitive, super like very emotional at work.
Yeah.
And we had another girl who worked with us once in a while, and she was the sweetest thing ever. But like the way that the one girl who I worked with who was really sensitive, when she talked about her, she'd say she's an empath. And she said it in such a way like you have to be careful about how you are around her because she will absorb what you tell her.
Yeah.
And it almost made me feel guilty for saying anything that I was feeling, or, well, no, it didn't almost, it did.
Yeah.
Because she was labeled an empath by somebody else. And I was like, oh, well, I don't want to, like, you know, emotionally drain this person by telling them I'm having a bad day or whatever. So I just
Mm-hmm.
won't tell this person things because, you know, it was a label that was put on her.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I remember after that was said to me, and I went through, you know, maybe a day or two avoiding telling this person anything. I realized that's them problem. I'm an
Yeah.
empathetic person as well, but I was like, wait a second. When did being an empath come with us?
Boundaries.
Yeah, like boundaries, and but not only that, but like when did it come with like special
And then
privileges?
having had to have special treatment, like,
Yeah,
doesn't that just show that there's something that's not right?
yeah.
That there's
Extra days
something,
off work, more
yeah,
time, being
yeah,
overly emotional at work, or
yeah,
I'm just using the work situation, but yeah, like having to cover your area with, you know, healing stones and things because if something, you know, happens and you're not going to be able to function on working on your project or stuff like that. Yeah,
yeah. That reminds me of someone I worked with.
I love healing stones, but you know,
So do I. And there is a place for them, though. And if you're needing to have them spread around your desk, like maybe there's something more to that. I have healing stones, but I don't, every once in a while I'll carry one with me, but it's not like I have them, you know, to try to keep me grounded because I can't handle other people's emotions.
okay, so let's talk about the toxic positivity one.
Yeah, that one is, um,
This one doesn't really get to me that much, but
it
because
does to,
when somebody's so overly positive, it's just sort of like comical, kind of, or just sort of like you're.
well, I kind of relate to this one because I am an optimistic person, and it's really hard in my life for me to allow outside circumstances to affect my positivity. But there have been times when, I've discussed with my partner, like he's like, I don't know how you get up in the morning. And then when I realize, I'm like, sometimes I have tried so hard to be so positive because I'm like, if I'm negative, you know, then I'm going to go down this dark hole and I could end up, at the bottom again. And that's not
But
where I
this
want to
is a
be.
coping skill, no? It's this coping strategy and method, like stay
Sometimes,
positive, you know,
yeah,
keep positive outlook, make
yeah.
a few things in place throughout your day that'll keep you on a positive path. But I
But
feel
then
like,
it sometimes that hides things that are actually good for you to help you heal, like
yeah, like
going for a walk in nature.
yeah,
Like you're just like, no, I'm just gonna stay positive regardless. And it's like, well, maybe I just need to take a minute. Like I think when I think it becomes toxic when people just don't recognize that there's signs in our lives to signify when we need to take a minute. And, shrouding it over with positivity isn't always the best thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And then like if somebody's saying, oh, be positive all the time, you don't feel comfortable being negative if you're having a
That's
bad
right. Yeah. You can't
time.
be like, I've had a shitty day, because you're going to be like, they're going to come at you with their, or they're like, well,
Yeah, here's what you have to do.
yeah,
Be
they're going to try to come up with a solution, because
Mhm.
they have to have the solution for everything, because they can't have negativity, right?
Mhm. But then that's such a funny one for me. It doesn't really bother me very much when people are just super positive. But like if somebody doesn't allow me to express myself, and this is like, there's certain places, there's certain environments in life where you're not allowed to really say how you feel. Some
Yeah.
people are masters at doing it correctly to a certain extent, but there's certain environments socially that you can't express your discontent.
No.
So I think that's a bit toxic over time. It becomes really bad for you if you can't express yourself. If you don't know how to express yourself, you don't have the communication skills to get it out.
Yeah.
And then what was the third one? The third one was be kind.
Bottling up your emotions is like poison,
Yeah, it's like
but
when
that
you're
can come
always
from
kind to
positivity.
everybody. Yeah, it is like
Yeah.
positivity. Yeah, it's like when you're always kind to, like when your motto is be kind.
Not that you want to be unkind, but
Not because you're like
sometimes you just have to, you have to express your feelings. You have to express what's going on in the situation. You can't just be
in a
kind.
level, in a level,
Yeah.
you well communicated way.
Yeah.
Can't be mean.
No,
It's the thing when you say be kind, it's almost like it implies there's an opposite. If you're not being
that's
kind,
right.
you're being mean.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the case. I think kindness is sometimes subjective. Kindness can be bringing your neighbor a basket of muffins,
Yeah.
right? Kindness could be saying, "Gee, you look nice today."
Yeah.
Kindness could be saying nothing when there's nothing kind to say. Leaving
That's
something
right.
in could be kind.
You could
Yeah,
be opening the door for the person, that has their hands full or whatever. It doesn't have to.
it could be
Yeah.
just guiding somebody from behind without them knowing that you are doing this with their best interests.
Yeah. Or even you can be sending people, good vibes. That's kind, being kind.
That's being kind on another level. Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely it's funny because part of all of this is that it's just that self-awareness, you know?
Yeah, it is, but it is. And everybody's at a different level, right, of their self-awareness, or just like
Yeah,
even just like, the more you learn, the more you travel,
for
I think
sure.
like that your mind opens and expands. Even with age, it naturally opens and expands.
Yep.
When you have kids, it opens and expands. There's just certain points in your life where you learn and grow naturally, and things take on a different, more extensive and meaning, right? Um,
Part of it too is not jumping on trends, looking at something more than just face value like we are, you know?
mhm, right. Just taking the time to look at the opposite side. So that's what that journal entry was all about. Was just like, like it sounds great. I love the idea of be positive, be kind,
Of
be
course.
empathetic.
Yeah, that's why we all do,
Hmm.
but there's a time and a place for all of it.
Yeah, yeah. I guess it's on like a continuum or whatever, right?
Hmm.
And then there's also like critical thinking about this too, right? Because like basically with our wellness retreat, we are wellness coaches.
Yeah.
We are creative. We're doing it with creativity and painting and crafting and, natural elements like water and earth and different elements of that, how to be creative and take care of yourself. I don't know
But
where I'm
we,
going with this.
well, I was just going to say, but with our self-care plan, we're not just making it all fluff, we're saying, use these tools that we're giving you to express yourself creatively as you go through these emotions. Maybe you've never looked at them before.
Yeah,
Here's, here are a few tools that are going to help you process this so that you can move forward.
yeah, it's a little bit of a deeper dive and
Yeah.
it's guided. Like we're more than
Yeah.
just like coaching you, like, oh, come on, you know, let's get you, you
Let's
know,
get you, yeah, saying an affirmation daily.
yeah. I think what it is, it's like it's a deeper dive. It's a guided, immersive coaching. Our one days anyway are like what, about 6 hours long.
Yeah.
So you're away from your phone. It's just long enough to disconnect from some of these, everyday things that you're feeling and put that space in between all those things that tether you and
Mm-hmm.
get you, just starting to reflect, which is why we do the follow up.
Yeah.
But the 4-day retreats, those are a little bit different.
They will be. Yeah.
Yeah, those
They
are a
will
little bit more intensive.
way more intensive, but still with the same guided, like, not that we're going to hold anyone's hand, but, we're going to help you through it. You're not going to have to go through it alone.
Yeah, yeah, and we will definitely be like if you like art and creativity, you will like it anyway, right? Because it's like
Yeah.
an activity.
Yes.
But when you realize the lesson that's ingrained in the activity about looking deep into yourself, how you've been acting, and critically take a look at your patterns and habits, it's a little bit different than just like mindfulness based
Yes.
activity.
For sure.
So anybody can join an art class, right? And there's natural benefits from that.
There are, for sure.
You get kind of lost in it, like taking a good yoga class.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, so I guess it ties in with what I was saying about these trendy sort of memes as their surface level.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to look at it from all angles in order to really get a critical view.
Yeah.
And
To
that's
really
based.
recognize it, acknowledge it,
Yeah.
well, identify, and then work through it.
You can treat yourself to some much needed time away from the stresses of life and work and responsibilities and join us at the Creative Wellness Haven retreats. Confidentiality is always in effect, so we do discourage the use of any electronics, and we also do a device detox, so we help you through it, and you leave feeling refreshed and with higher energy. So, our feeling is that, when you're with others or when you're self guided, painting does allow you to focus on the moment. So, there's a lot of mindfulness involved in the retreats, and it also gives you a little bit of techniques in art or a chance to just create for the day. And then you can share it with others as well. And so, it helps build a sense of community and belonging as well as confidence. We're located at the Port Weller Community Center in St. Catharines, Ontario, and the program runs from 10:30 to 4 p.m. So it's a full day of wellness activities, nature immersion, and creative self-care planning with the option to come at 9:30 for meditation. So you can expect to explore Malcolm Echo Park if the weather permits, Sunset Beach as well, and the grounds around the community center, as well as we have access to all the rooms inside the community center, which includes the art room as well as the gym.